This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, today we are going to be talking about a couple of subjects that kind of merge together, so we're kind of covering two things. The first part of this is, how many times do you have to play a game before you really understand and get a feel for that game? You know, what is the right amount of times do you really feel that you need to play something in order to give a fair assessment of that game? And I've run into this more than one time. There have been a bunch of games that originally I thought were because I played them once or I read the rule book, and what happened is that I just didn't give the game enough time. And I think as a reviewer, I mean, if that's what you can call me, I think it comes down to a couple things, and it really kind of hurts what everybody does. Now, listen, I don't worry about what everybody does. This is a channel that I'm not out there racing to get videos out. But I find that a lot of people race to get videos out just to get the content out, because they want the views, because the views equal money. It's not about getting you the information that you need. Now, again, I don't care what anybody else does. I care what I did. And I learned a lesson over a couple of games that we're going to talk about, and games that I didn't love until I really sat down and played them extensively, took and absorbed them. And I'm going to give you some examples in a few minutes. My thing is that I'm finding is that instead of trying to race and get out the quick video, that I'm taking a lot more time. And that's not very favorable to companies and things like that if you want to be in the game or be a player in the game. And I don't think that is my thing. That is my calling. And you see people that race and get a lot of videos out, and they get huge subscriber counts and huge views because everybody's thirsting for knowledge. But isn't unboxing really knowledge? I mean, when somebody opens up a box and shows you what's inside, and there's 19 unboxings, because people tend to be too lazy to take the time to understand the game and just want to let everybody know, hey, I got this and I'm going to be covering this in the future. Instead of just saying, you know something, I got this. I'm going to take my time with it. And when I come to you with it, I'm going to feel that when I present something to you, it's knowledgeable, it's to the point, and I have a great feel for this game. Again, I'm going to say it, I don't care what anybody else does. Okay, they can eat hay for all I care. Okay, on screen. All I care is what's here. And I'm giving those as examples because I've done it in the past myself. I got something new and I got it right out on screen. And I started screaming it was the greatest thing in the world because, you know, I got one play in on it and I was excited for it. But then as I started playing some things, I found out that I didn't like them as much. And a lot of those things aren't in my collection anymore. Where on the other hand, some of the games we're going to be talking about, I'm so excited about, and some of the things that are coming for these games, as well as you know, some things that I really feel that are that have taken my time and finally brought you a good presentation. All that matters is how I present things, and not rushing things and getting things out, for me, is something that I feel very good about, very comfortable about. Does it hurt my growth? Sure. We're slow but steady. Does it hurt my views? Yeah, because everybody put out 20 20 million videos of a game that we've already covered. I mean, that we're covering, and it may take us years to get to some games. I have Swords and Sorcery. I want to do a Swords and Sorcery playthrough because it's finally completely painted, the whole thing. I want to be able to play the game live and make sure I understand it and that I have enough times under my belt, which now I do. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to go out and get a game in, play it once or twice, and then try to do it live. That's me learning the game in front of you and making mistakes in front of you, and then going back and then learning it and playing it even more. But I don't give you my final thoughts on things as much anymore until I've played something at least over 5 times, so I get a good feel for it. And there's some examples I'm going to give you right now. Games that I didn't think were good, and I was completely wrong about. I One of them, I was hypercritical because I read about some cannibalism in it, and that was Hate. I don't think I ever enjoyed painting a game as much as I did Hate. I mean, I painted all the figures. They were very fun. It was exciting. The game is huge. When I finally got the game to the table, I enjoyed the simple skirmish of it and how afterwards, in a Blood Bowl type of fashion, that you would take your injured or your wounded or things that you cannibalize. Yeah, you don't see it. It's not overly gory or anything like that, unless you go through the art book, and some of the images aren't great. But at the heart of it, it's a skirmish game. It's a skirmish game, and it's interesting. It's simple, yet has this uniqueness about it that you play both sides, and then the one tribe's going to get stronger, the other tribe's going to be hurting and has to scramble to try to figure out how they're going to win the next scenario, especially if you're playing a campaign. I've really enjoyed getting this humongous and very well produced game onto my table off camera. I've enjoyed it. Another game that really stands out is a game that, I ended up deleting a video that I did of it, the original video, and I actually did an apology video on it. Because when I first glanced at Gaslands, the thing that really stood out to me was like, oh, this is Car Wars. And I'm not even going to read this because all it is just a copy of Car Wars. I have Car Wars. Why would I want another game? Boy, if I just took the time and really went through it and got the things on the table and played it, because we came across the thing and my daughter had some beat up old Matchboxes, and I said, I think I got rules for that, and I mean, these are pretty good. Let me see if I can figure this out. And we ended up playing the game. And boy, was I wrong. What a fantastic game. I love Gaslands. And I made the video to say, hey, I'm sorry about that, Another game, I was at Gen Con. I think it was the first time I was ever at Gen Con. And I think I went to every booth and I bought something from every single booth. Every single booth. And I saw this one game and I said, oh, this is a horror game. It looks interesting. Let me just buy everything for it. Not knowing what it was about, not even learning. I was just throwing money around because I said, content. And that's Folklore. Okay? It sat on my shelf for close to 3.5 years. And finally I saw it and I said, well, let me bring it down and take a look at it. Open up the box. The miniatures were beautiful. I said, oh my God, this stuff is beautiful. I painted it all. And then I kind of put it away for a little bit. And it wasn't until Tina goes, you really should try this. It's really good. So we did a couple of live plays of it, and then I was playing it offline. Then I would get Julie from Julie, who came up with Julia Hearn from Greenbrier, who came up with a whole bunch of different examples of the game. I mean, scenarios of the game, and we ended up doing it live here and having a blast, and then playing it offline. I had so much fun with it, and making sure that I had everything painted for it. And now I can't wait for the next part of this to come out. It's probably one of my most anticipated things to come out this year. I hope you hear this, Julie. And I'm so excited for it. And it's such a great game. How did I miss this? How did I miss the boat on this? Shame on me. Another game I want to give you an example of, and it's probably one of the biggest ones that I've talked about on this channel recently, is Dungeon Universalis. The rule book was tough with the language barrier. I became very frustrated, and that's on me, because I don't do very well reading rule books. I really don't. I try to do my best. But if something doesn't catch me and I don't catch it right away, and I have to read it 3 or 4 times, I become very frustrated, just like a lot of you out there. That and the fact that I had to replace cards and things like that. Matter of fact, I became so frustrated with a game, Seventh Continent, which I hear is a great game, that replacing the cards, I actually just gave the game away. Now, I'll probably come back to it and probably regret it like I did everything else, but you haven't seen a video on it. I struggle with some things. And Dungeon Universalis, I struggled with until I decided to slow down and take small sections. And the way I did it, I said, today I'm just going to concentrate on moving. I didn't give up on the game. And then the next time I would concentrate on attacking. And then I would concentrate on spawning things and movement and weaponry and treasure and how things work. And I realized that this is probably one of the greatest dungeon crawls out there. It is a giant sandbox that you can create your own world from. And another one of my most anticipated things is 1.5. I can't wait to get it in my hands. It's just one of those things that just is I'm so excited for. At first I thought I threw away too much money, and now I'm glad I did. And it's taking the time to understand that game. It's taking the time to comprehend and really understand what the vision of the creator was, what the vision of the company was, and immerse yourself into the game. The biggest problem is you look around here, there's just so many games, and sometimes I fall into my own trap of just constantly trying to get content out. Well, yeah, I'm getting a lot of content out, but now it's controlled content. And over the last couple of years, I have not worried about growth. I haven't worried about what people think, okay? I haven't worried about people passing me along the way and becoming more YouTube famous. I mean, who cares? I've worried about what I present to my community. And if they want to stay, that's great. If they don't, hey, this isn't my whole life. And the people that do make it their whole life, God bless them. They can make a living from this, and they deserve it because they're great. They put their heart and soul and everything into it. I have other things that I'm interested in. I mean, I love doing this. This is a big part of my life, but it doesn't control my life. I have grandchildren that mean something to me. I have a full-time job, and that I have to make sure that I have a roof that we just had put on over my head. I have sports that I enjoy, that I love to play. Okay, I love to go out and lift and power lift and Muay Thai and softball and all the other things that I would do, you know, that take up time. I live life. I live life. I don't make this my life. And there's nothing wrong with the people that do. Okay? But if I'm going to bring you the best I can, I need to just take my time and do it. And I do. And I find I'm a lot more happier. A lot happier. And I don't worry about other things. I don't worry about all those other things. I just concentrate on bringing the best I can. And I just wonder how many more games in this collection have I missed out on. That I'm looking forward to just, you know, I have a lifetime's worth of games, which means I have a lifetime's of videos to produce and bring to you guys. And if I just take my time, a little at a time, and go through things, I think we're going to have a wonderful ride. So there you go. That's my thoughts for today. As a lot of you know, usually I try to play something live on a Thursday like today. But I'm not going to be doing that because we do have a new grandchild here. And we'll definitely see you with something live, something fun, something new, something different, something old. But we'll do it where we can give you an honest and heartfelt opinion. It may be something that's been out for a few years. It may be something that's brand new. But we're going to take the time to try to bring the best to you so we don't make the mistakes that we have made and been so wrong with some of the games that we've talked about here today. I don't want to make those mistakes anymore. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.